All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are tackling a topic that is, well, it's a huge deal for pretty much everyone in marketing, but it's also a major source of confusion. We're talking about email deliverability. So let's crack this thing wide open.
So you've been there, right? You spend hours, maybe even days, crafting what you think is the perfect email. The copy is amazing, the design is beautiful, the offer is a total no-brainer. You hit send to your whole list, and then crickets. You're looking at almost zero opens, zero clicks. It feels like you're just shouting into an empty room. It's so frustrating, and today we're going to dig into exactly why that happens.
You know, there's a really great analogy for this. Think about baseball for a second. You can stand in a batting cage all day long, perfecting your swing, getting it just right. But if you get into a real game and you never actually make contact with the ball, all that practice was basically for nothing. And that's exactly what's going on here. All your hard work on that email, that's the practice. Actually getting it into the inbox, that's hitting the ball. That's the only part that really counts.
Okay, so this really gets to the heart of the matter. It's this sort of invisible problem. See, the real challenge isn't just about clicking send and getting a sent successfully notification. Nope. It's all about where that email actually ends up. And to get our heads around that, we first need to clarify one really important thing.
And that thing is the critical difference between delivery and deliverability. Now I know, they sound almost identical and people mix them up all the time. But trust me, they are worlds apart. And understanding this difference, it's literally the first step to making sure your emails don't just disappear into that void we were talking about.
So let's break it down. Email delivery. That's just the technical part. It means the email left your server and arrived at the recipient's mail server without bouncing. It got to the right address. Thumbs up. But email deliverability, that is the real prize. That's whether your email lands in the main inbox and not the spam folder or the promotions tab. Delivery is getting the letter to the post office. Deliverability is getting it into the person's actual mailbox. One's a technical checkmark, the other is mission accomplished.
And here's why this matters so much. Your email deliverability is the absolute foundation of your entire campaign. Every single metric you obsess over, your open rates, your click-through rates, your conversions, none of it means a thing if the email isn't in the inbox to begin with. You can't open an email you never even see, right? So if your deliverability is bad, well, nothing else you do even matters.
So the big question is, how do you make sure your emails actually land in that prized inbox? Well, it helps to picture the whole journey as kind of like a gauntlet. Your email doesn't just waltz right in. It has to fight its way through a series of really tough challenges to prove that it belongs there.
Seriously, every single email you send is put on trial. You've got these major gatekeepers. Think Gmail, Outlook, Yahoo. Their main job is to protect their users' inboxes. So they have these incredibly smart, powerful spam filters that are basically like bouncers at an exclusive club, looking at every single message trying to get in. They're deciding, are you cool or are you getting kicked out to the spam folder?
First up, and this is the big one, your reputation. The Internet Service Providers, or ISPs, are constantly watching you. They give you what's called a sender reputation score. The best way to think of it is like a credit score, but for your email. They look at everything you do, your sending history, how many people complain, if people are engaging with your stuff, and they use all that to decide if you're trustworthy. A bad score, you look like a spammer. It's really that simple.
Okay, next checkpoint, you've got to prove you're legit. This gets a little technical, but it's super important. You have things called authentication protocols. You might see the acronyms SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. Basically, they're like your email's driver's license. They prove your email is actually from you and not some scammer pretending to be you. And on top of that, the gatekeepers watch how you send. If a brand new email account suddenly tries to send 100,000 emails out of nowhere, whoa, that's a massive red flag. It just screams spam.
And the last checkpoint is all about your audience. The gatekeepers are watching them too. How do people react when they get your email? If they hit that spam button, that's like getting a huge thumbs down. It's the worst signal you can send. But on the flip side, if people are opening your emails, clicking on your links, maybe even replying, that's a huge thumbs up. It tells the providers, hey, people actually want this stuff.
And yeah, they even scan the email itself, looking for classic spammy things like weird links, sketchy trigger words, or, shouting at people in all caps.
When you boil it all down, passing all these checkpoints is really about one thing: your return on investment. I love this quote from Surya Narayan Paul at Mailmodo. He says, and he's so right, you can have the absolute best design, the most amazing content, but if you're not getting into the inbox, your ROI will simply go for a toss. It's just gone.
Okay, so that's the gauntlet. It sounds kind of intimidating, right? But here's the really good news. This is a game you can absolutely win. This is not some random force of nature you can't control. There is a clear, actionable playbook you can follow to get your deliverability exactly where it needs to be. So here it is, your 8-step path to getting in the inbox. First, get the technical stuff right. Authenticate your domain. Next, you have to warm up your IP address. Don't just start blasting emails. Build up slowly to show you're trustworthy. From there, it's all about good habits. You have to constantly maintain a healthy sender reputation. You do that by sending relevant and engaging content that people actually want to read. Make sure you use a confirmed opt-in for your list, so you know people have explicitly said, yes, I want your emails. Then you can even encourage whitelisting. Asking people to add you to their contacts is a huge positive signal. Of course, you must monitor your complaints very carefully. And finally, and this is a big one, provide an easy unsubscribe option. Trust me, it's so much better to let someone leave easily than to have them mark you as spam. This playbook right here, this is your key.
But look, following that playbook isn't a set-it-and-forget-it kind of deal. Improving deliverability is an ongoing process. Your real secret weapon here is constant monitoring. You have to be watching all the time, keeping an eye on your performance and being ready to tweak your strategy based on what the data is telling you.
And the great thing is, you don't have to fly blind. There are some fantastic tools out there built for exactly this. Google Postmaster tools, for instance. If you send a lot of email to Gmail addresses, you have to be using this. It gives you direct feedback from Google about your reputation and any issues you're having. These tools are what take you from just guessing what's wrong to actually knowing.
And as you're keeping an eye on things, keep this quote from David Bitton in mind. He says to pay special attention to those signals. When you see a sudden jump in people unsubscribing or your engagement numbers start to drop, that's not just a bad number on a spreadsheet. That is your audience telling you loud and clear that something's not right. It's direct feedback, and you've got to listen to it.
So, we'll leave you with this to think about. Hitting that send button? That's the easy part. That's just the beginning. The real question you have to ask yourself is this: is your email just being sent, or is it actually being seen? Thanks for tuning in to The Explainer.